Today's video is sponsored by Black Gold Compost Company. I want to thank the good people over at Black Gold for the generous donation of all this beautiful black cow manure that we use in our video today, and it's made a tremendous success in our garden. I've been using black cow for many years, ever since 1980, and it's always made a tremendous difference in my garden, and I've been very pleased with our product. I highly recommend it. Thank you, Black Gold, for sponsoring our channel. Well, good morning, friends. Today's video is going to be on growing us some red cabbage together. Stick with me. I'll be right back after the break, and we'll get into how to do this at home. See you then. Well, that's my little baby. Oh, welcome back. Me and Bing Bing's just making out over here. You'll have to excuse us. Right, Bingy? Okay, go play. Daddy got work to do. Welcome back. Like we said earlier, we're gonna grow us some red cabbage. Nancy just loves putting different colors and stuff in her cooking, and you know what? I love it too. So we're gonna grow some red cabbage for Miss Nancy. She's gonna make some coleslaw and some other things with it. I especially like Nancy's coleslaw. Quite tasty. But anyway, this is a little variety of red cabbage called Candy Red. Candy Red. I got these seeds at johnnyseed.com, so go check out that website. You may want to buy some of these seeds for yourself and try them in your fall garden this year. It's one of the favorites in the fall garden is cabbage. So go check it out. You may want to get some. Now, this cabbage, I'm starting it in my seed trays from seed. I recommend when you grow cabbage to grow it as seed starts instead of trying to direct sow it. I think that a seedling like this is going to give you a lot better success. So I would go with starting them in a seed tray and starting out with a seedling. Another benefit that I like when I grow my seedlings in a tray is when I plant that seedling, I can use a piece of fish as my fertilizer. And man, that is some great organic fertilizer. When I put the fish in the hole and you know, then bury the fish, and then I dig another little hole on top of that fish, and I put my little seedling up there, that fish is decaying and getting all them good old nutrients up in that soil. So when those little roots finally grow down and they hit that decaying fish down there, they get a super boost of all kinds of nutrients that is very healthy for the plant, and the plant thrives. And that fish down there, usually it lasts the entire life of my plant, so I don't have to come back and side dress my plants or anything like that. That fish gets the job done. Now, if you don't fish, me and Nancy fish, and we save all our heads and guts and little scrawny little fish that most people throw back. We saved them, put them in a Ziploc bag in the freezer, and then when the growing season gets here, we got fertilizer. But maybe you don't fish. Go check out some of your friends and see if any of your friends fish, and ask them if you can have the guts and heads. And believe me, a fisherman will be more than happy to give you that stuff, because it gives them a way to get rid of it. And you can save that in a Ziploc bag in the back of your freezer somewhere, and then when growing season gets here, you got yourself some Mac Daddy organic fertilizer. You want to do that. So, and also you can go to a fresh fish market in your area if you have one, and go up and ask them if you can have their heads and guts and, you know, scraps from where they clean fish and stuff. They'll be happy to give it to you, and free fertilizer. So go for it, friends. Go check it out. So anyway, we're gonna put these in the seed starting rack, and we're gonna let these get going, these Candy Red cabbages, and we'll watch the progression of these in the days ahead as these things continue to grow. And As soon as they get up big enough and I harden them off, we'll go put these directly out into the earth bed and plant them out there. So for now, stick with me on this video all the way to the end of the video, because we're going to go from seed all the way to the day that we harvest it, and we'll cut them open and take a look at the inside, see how beautiful these things are. Then I'll look forward to Nancy making us something good to eat with it. So we'll be back in the days ahead, and we'll watch the progress of these beautiful red cabbage. See you soon. Well, good morning. Our red cabbage, our candy red cabbage is doing great. They've been in the seed starting tray here for 9 days, and today they're looking pretty good. I've got a very good germination rate. The seedlings are still very young, very small. It's been kind of hot, but it's finally starting to cool off some, so I think these will do a lot better. But the germination rate is still good. I've got a lot of little seedlings. They're living off the codlin leaves right now. There's no true leaves at all, so these are going to take a little while, so we have to be a little more patient with them. But cabbage, it don't like them warm temperatures. But we're down into the 70s and even in the 60s at night now, so we're coming along pretty good. I'm going to have a nice cool fall this year compared to last year. It was really hot, but this year it looks like it's a pretty good cool weather fall season for us. So I think we'll do a lot better with a lot of our cabbages and broccolis and things. So anyway, we'll be back in another week or two. We'll take another look at them and see the progress and see if they're about ready to harden off and get them on out into get them growing out into the garden. So we'll be back in about a week. Well, good morning, friends. Nancy's red cabbage, red candy cabbage, red cabbage is doing really pretty good. Been out here on the hardening table for 2 weeks, and as you can see, it's really doing great. You can come up and take a close look at them, and you can see that all the seedlings are doing great. Got some true leaves showing, getting some good height on them, and they've been on the hardening table out here for about 3 days, so they're doing pretty good. I think I got enough to get a row in now, and that's what I want to do, is put in at least one row of this red cabbage for Miss Nancy. So I think that's what I'm going to do today, is I'm going to go ahead and get these in the ground. Some of these little seedlings are kind of lagging behind and they're kind of small. I think once I get them out of these seed trays and get them over into the earth bed and get them planted, I think they're just going to be just dandy. So let's go ahead and get over there. I'm going to put these in using fish as my fertilizer. Great organic source of fertilizer, and I'll be doing that. And as I plant these, I'll put a little blood meal in with each hole into each seedling to give it kind of a little bit of a start to get going while it's waiting on that fish to decompose on down. As soon as that fish, while that fish is decomposing, remember those roots are growing on down, and they'll hit that fish right about the time it's decomposing and incorporating into the soil real nice, and the plant can take it up. So we'll be getting these in the ground today, and we'll do it together. So let's head on over to the earth bed and get that thing prepped up and get these little beautiful candy red cabbage in the ground. See you at the earth bed. Okay, I got the 2 rows of the Candy Red cabbage in the ground and installed, off and running. I'm looking forward to watching that grow in the days ahead. So today I wanted to also address a couple of things, a couple of my techniques out here. I've been getting some harsh criticism from some of the other YouTube gardening channels. I felt compelled to kind of defend myself a little bit, but I respect you guys. I don't want to cut down anybody's channel. I like your channels, and I think it's a good thing that you do to help people learn how to grow their own food. So keep up the good work. But just to answer some of your questions about why I do what I do, or criticism of the things I do, one of the things I do is you'll see after I cultivate my area that I'm going to plant in, you'll see me go through with a grading rake and I grade that out. And a lot of people say that's a complete waste of time and does nothing for the health of the plant. Well, this is the way I learned to do it for many years, decades and decades, is whenever I put in a brand new little seedling transplant or I'm doing direct sow, I try to go ahead, since I'm just a small garden and I'm not a farm, it's just a small garden, I can go through with my grading rake and I smooth out all those little trenches and ruts and things, dips and didos that are in that area where I'm planting, because those little areas tend to collect water and puddle up, and whenever they do, I've found over the years that it rots my seeds, and it also gives my little seedlings root rot. It's just overwhelming for them. So that's why I grade it out the best I can to promote good drainage until those little seedlings get established and get on up. Now after they get going good, I have to go in between all my rows with the cultivator to keep that weed pressure down. And you'll notice when I do that, I don't ever grade that out. I just go through and cultivate it, and I leave the little trenching marks where I cultivated, and it ain't hurting a thing. And those plants aren't gonna be bothered by those little trenches or the little, if there's some little spots that puddle, it ain't bothering it. So that's why I do what I do with the grading rake. And if you don't feel like that's doing you any good and you don't want to do it, then don't do it. I've always learned that whatever procedure works best for you, that's the one you want to do. So keep doing what you're doing. If it's working, you don't need to change anything. It's just the way I do it. Another bit of harsh criticism I've been getting is I'm using blood meal and bone meal in my vegetables, and of course vegetables are annuals, and what I'm hearing is, well, they take 1 to 4 months for that stuff to decompose and interact with the plant roots and be taken up by the plant. Well, I agree. It is a slow release fertilizer, 1 to 4 months for it to be completely devoured by the soil and the plants. But the reason I do that is when I put in a little seedling, I put in that blood meal or that bone meal, whatever I'm using, I put it in the hole, because when it's wet and gets wet, like what I'm doing right now, I'm watering in these brand new seedlings, and I've got blood meal underneath these cabbages to promote nitrogen, to promote foliage. You're gonna get a small percent of release today. It may be only 2 to 6% of that blood meal nitrogen will release today, which is just right, because the little old bitty seedling is just a seedling. He can't eat all that fertilizer if it explodes all at one time, all that nitrogen. It's just too much. It's like drinking out of a fire hose. So if it's slowly releasing just a little bit of nitrogen, that's really all that seedling needed today, and then for probably the next couple of weeks. So that's cool. That's what I want. I want it to be a slow release. It can eat that and absorb that nitrogen. As the plant matures, it'll want to absorb more and more, and that's okay, because the nitrogen is still being slowly released over a period of 3 to 4 months in the hole, right in the hole. So I don't have to come back and side dress with fertilizer. I don't like to use any of these fertilizers. I like to go purely organic. So that's what I'm using on the blood, why I use the blood meal, and that's my opinion, which is pretty cheap nowadays, but that's what it is. And that's why I use it. Another sharp piece of criticism I get is using fish in the hole, which is to me another beautiful source of free organic fertilizer. There's a lot of resources online you can go and check out that gives you all kinds of information on why fish works great in the garden. But that's up to you to go check that out. And I'm going to do another video on the, using fish in the hole when I plant my vegetables, just to show you how I do it and why. But anyway, those fish are down 9 inches deep, and I put the seedling up there. That seedling's nowhere near that fish as it's decomposing. Right now it's a hot fertilizer, and so I used the blood meal to give it a little bit of nitrogen right now, and as those roots develop and they keep digging down, and they hit that decomposed fish in weeks ahead, that fish has already started to decompose enough to where it can take it up through the plant. It might not be 100% decomposed, but it's decomposed quite a bit. So that's a good source of nitrogen and phosphorus. So that plant can take up that fish nutrients from that fish decomposer. We'll go into a whole video on that in the days ahead, and I'll show you how to do it exactly, you know, for you, those of you that want to do it. And for those of you that I offended by using fish, I apologize. But this is the way I do it, and I've been doing it for a long time, and it's always worked great for me. So that's my little piece for today. I just wanted to let you know why I do a couple of things. I'm getting some bad criticism, some bad press on, just to let you know what's up. So anyway, we'll be back in the days ahead. As soon as this beautiful candy red cabbage starts getting somewhere, we'll watch the progression of that all the way up until we cut it off and harvest it. And I can't wait to see what Nancy makes in the kitchen with it. So we'll be back in the days ahead. See you soon. Well, good morning. Our candy red cabbage has been out here for about 8 weeks now. It's starting to get on some beautiful foliage and really starting to get some traction. So these 2 rows right here are starting to come on, and we're starting to get some cooler temperatures now, a little bit more seasonable, and that's what these guys needed. They needed some of that cooler weather. So now with the cool weather and the cool temperatures setting in, these cabbage ought to really get some real good traction. So we'll be back in the days ahead, and we'll continue to watch how fast and beautiful these cabbages grow. See you soon. Well, a candy red cabbage is coming along pretty good, considering, you know, Tropical Storm Ada hit us a couple weeks ago, and that thing ran directly over our homestead. So our little 2 rows of cabbage here were subjected to some pretty hard wind and quite a bit of rain, but they seem to be trying to make a comeback. So we're going to keep them in prayer, and hopefully they'll pull through for us and maybe get us some nice cabbage heads in the days ahead. I think they'll be okay. So anyway, we'll be back in a few weeks, and we'll continue to watch the progress of our candy red cabbage. See you then. Well, our candy red cabbage has been growing out here in the garden for 4 months, and actually we started harvesting this last month. So we've been picking out here for the last 4 weeks and really enjoying it. And I just wanted to grab up a couple today. Nancy told me to come out here and get a couple of red cabbage. So I don't know what she's gonna make with it. But anyway, let me get you a couple of these. I just wanted to show you what they look like. And we'll go over to the harvest area and split one open. Let you take a look at the inside. They sure are pretty cabbages. Very easy to harvest. Well, there we go. Ain't them pretty?
Oh yeah, beautiful.
You like them, baby?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're gonna go over there to the harvest area, and we'll wash these up, clean them up, see what they look like, and I'll split one down the middle, let you look at the inside. So see you over at the harvest area. They never look that big until we get them in the sink.
I know, it's big. It's pretty big. Here we go. Save those for the chickens.
Yeah, the chickens got to get their cut. But this is what we're looking for right there.
Beautiful.
Isn't that pretty? And wash that off.
Ooh.
Isn't that beautiful?
That is so gorgeous.
There you go. I don't know if you can beat that.
Why don't you open up one of them?
Okay.
So that way they can see the inside. It's
All right,
beautiful. Then. It's so pretty. Oh wow, look how pretty that is.
Candy Red. That's a good name for that one. That's beautiful, ain't it? Well, we sure had fun growing these Candy Red cabbage. I know you love them.
Oh yeah.
And they really did come out really like Candy Red, didn't they? And I know you and your mama love these, so we always make sure we grow a little extra for her.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So we wanted to say thank you for watching our videos today. I hope the video brought some peace to you, had a little good moment of joy in your day just watching one of our videos. And so until me and Nancy see you next time, we want to always remember to thank the Lord for everything he gives us out of our garden. By his hands we are fed. Give us, Lord, our daily bread. Amen.
Have a blessed day. Wow, they're beautiful. I'm gonna make sauerkraut out of them and make coleslaws out of them. That'd be so good. With that fresh carrots and